Hi, this is Anita from 5 Minutes with Art. There's a lot of artists that I wish I had personally known and was friends with, or was in my circle or my influence of friends. One of them that I think would have been quite an interesting character to kind of get to know would be Salvador Dalí. And part of the reason of that was because he was known to be quite a flamboyant personality. He had sort of this bizarre imagery he was doing, and he had this real sense of creativity. So I think, as an individual, he must have been quite an interesting person. He was born in May 11th, 1904 in Spain. And from the early age, he was into art, and he had sort of this unusual way of looking at things. He was, probably someone who's quite creative and into theater and to other things like that. His family nurtured his artistic talents and enrolled him in the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in Madrid. But his rebellious nature kind of put him at odds with the institution because, a lot of great artists, as we've talked about here in our 5 Minutes with Art, a lot of them are not afraid to push the envelope, to try something new and to push the way the art is supposed to be conformed to for the day. And so he was eventually expelled for refusing to be examined on the grounds that he believed his professors were not competent enough to really critique his skills. Here's Salvador, Dalí being expelled from this institution. And he's, basically saying, professors, really, you're not competent. You can't really critique me at all. His early influences really with Impressionism and Cubism, but it was Surrealism, the movement that emerged in the 1920s that he really grasped onto and captured his imagination. This was during the time when Sigmund Freud was about, and this was influenced by the dreams of Sigmund Freud and the subconscious. And so Dalí began sort of experimenting with these surrealistic techniques, blending hyper-realistic paintings with dreamlike fantasy type of matter. That's why a lot of his art, when you look at his art, it's an art which some people understand, some people don't understand. I personally like it. It's sort of a great art. The more you study it, the more really, interesting and inspiring it is. But he has some very iconic works of art that are quite well known. The Persistence of Memory is one of them. It features sort of melting clocks draped over desolate landscapes. The haunting image is often interpreted as the commentary, the fluidity and the subjectivity of time. I've written a blog post about him. You can go on, you can see actually some of his top artworks, and you can be able to see, learn more about him and see some of the actual artworks that he's done and be able to see them. I see him as very much sort of this eccentric type of personality. He was very eccentric with his art. He was known to be a very eccentric type of person in his personality. He had this flamboyant sort of mustache. One of the great things about Dalí is that he is really inseparable from his eccentric personality. He had that flamboyant mustache, the extravagant wardrobe, dramatic public appearances were very much a part of his legacy as his paintings. He once famously said, "The only difference between me and a madman is that I am not mad." So he really did see himself as somebody who put on these airs of being quite eccentric in many ways. One of his most bizarre performances occurred during a lecture in London in 1936 when he arrived in a diving suit that symbolized the descent into the subconscious. Such theatrics, cemented his reputation as someone who needed to be noticed. And so really, truly, he was someone who was flamboyant in both his personality and in his art itself. This is one of the reasons why I said that there's an artist that you maybe wanted to have in your circle of friends. It was probably Salvador Dalí, because he probably was in real life. I could just imagine being a lot of fun-loving, just sort of a bit eccentric, and probably would have been a great character to be able to sit down and have a conversation with, or go out to dinner with, or just to kind of get to know. That's why his influence even today has transcended art. It's influenced fashion, film, and popular culture. And, he's somebody who really did be able to transcend all of these different things. So even, beyond the canvas, this is an artist who was able to really influence all types of art. Even today, he has been able to influence some of the art. If you're looking for an artist that's a bit flamboyant, that has some interesting works of art, check out Salvador Dalí and his art. We've written a blog post on this, The Surreal World of Salvador Dalí, Art, Eccentricity, and Legacy. We'll put a link in the description below. And we hope that you'll enjoy it and enjoy this artist as much as we do. Thank you so much for listening. We sure do appreciate you, our listeners.